They are pathetic.
Shameless, embarrassing grifters.
The Duchess of Duplicity is out of control.
They are grifters.
Meghan and Harry have been called grifters, gold diggers, cash grabbers, and every appearance comes with a price tag. But here's the irony. Meghan and Harry actually fail at being grifters because
the clock is ticking. That's what the insider said. Not they're struggling or things are tight. The clock is ticking. And you know what? You already knew something was off. You've known for a while now. Because when someone spends this much energy trying to look rich, trying to look relevant, trying to look like the deals are flowing and the cameras are chasing them and the world can't get enough, well, that's not success. That's performance. And the curtain is coming down. Let's talk about the numbers first, because the numbers don't lie, even when Meghan does.
The finances are not what the headlines tell you. The $100 million Netflix deal was never $100 million.
And we can stop believing that their financial future is secured because all the Hollywood deals, Harry's inheritance, or the as ever product selling out, it's not what it seems.
The $20 million Spotify deal was not $20 million. Sources say that the inheritance that Princess Diana gave Harry is mostly gone, and their outgoings are huge, with security bills, multiple mortgages, and legal fees estimated at $38 million.
That $100 million Netflix deal that made headlines everywhere, that everyone in Hollywood was talking about, that her team made sure every tabloid screamed from the front page, journalist Dan Wakeford looked into it.
Harry on it. According to the journalist Dan Wakeford, they are not broke yet, but the clock is ticking. Meghan and Harry's money has limits. And thanks to Dan's brilliant investigation, we now know the $100 million Netflix deal was closer to $60 million. The $20 million Spotify deal was closer to $5 million. Harry's memoir brought an estimate of $20 million in advance. He asks around $50,000 for keynote speeches, and Meghan asked $3,000 for her retreat. But Harry had to discount his ticket prices. Meghan has struggled to fill a room with a few tables and a few chairs. Nobody's going to see another season of the brilliant cooking show with Love Meghan, and nobody's really desperately waiting.
Really looked into it, and what he found is that the real number was closer to 60 million, not 100, 60. And that's before Netflix took their share, before the production costs, before the staff, before everything that goes into actually making content that people want to watch, which, as it turns out, they don't. Not anymore. The Spotify deal was 20 million. That's what we were told. Except it wasn't 20 million. It was closer to 5 million. 5. And the show got canceled. Harry's memoir, Spare, brought in around $20 million in advance. That sounds like a lot until you realize the legal fees alone are estimated at $38 million. The security bills, the multiple mortgages on that Montecito mansion, the staff, the nannies, the garden maintenance. And I'm not joking about the garden. Just watering that thing costs more than most families spend on groceries in a year. Here's the thing, though. A little bit of money coming in and a lot of money going out. Even a child can do that math. This isn't a situation where they need to cut back on fancy dinners or skip a vacation. This is a situation where they need an 8-figure deal right now just to keep the lights on at the level they're living. And those deals, they're not coming because nobody's buying. I want to slow down here for a second because I think about this more than I probably should, honestly. I think about what it means when someone burns every bridge they were ever given. The royal family gave them a fairy tale wedding march by millions. A home, security, connections that most people couldn't dream of. And I think about Harry's kids growing up cut off from cousins, from grandparents, from a whole side of who they are. That part gets to me. It really does. Because whatever you think about the politics of all this, those are children, and they didn't choose the end of it. But back to the collapse, because that's what this is. Meghan tried jam, real jam, in jars with a lifetime on demand attached. The product sold out initially, sure, and the whole team made sure the press covered it like he reinvented food itself. But you know, just like I know, that a one-time sellout doesn't build an empire. It sells a moment. and moments don't pay mortgages.
For a book Spare Volume 2. I mean, if you are, let me know. Their Montecito mansion is a massive money drain with several mortgages to pay for. The maintenance of the house, the garden, just watering the garden, the leftover staff and nannies, and last but not least, Meghan herself and her high luxury diva style. Even a child understands. Just a little bit of money coming in and a lot of money coming out. This is no longer about let's just cut some more coupons this month. This is about we need an 8-figure deal now if we want to continue this lifestyle. But we'll talk about the future plans in a moment.
The cooking show with Love Meghan didn't get the second season anyone was pretending to wait for. The wellness retreats, she was charging $3,000 a ticket and still struggling to fill the room. Harry was charging $50,000 for keynote speeches and had to start discounting. Discounting. A prince discounting his own keynote? And now we're hearing the scripted polo drama they announced with such fanfare might never actually see the light of day. Sources close to the project are saying it quietly. Not loudly, quietly. And that's actually... Wait, let me rephrase that. That's more damaging than a loud cancellation. Because a quiet burial means even the people involved don't want the embarrassment attached to their name. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Because the money problem is real, but it's actually not even the biggest problem. The biggest problem is that people are losing interest. And a grifter, if we're going to use that word, a grifter only walks if you keep watching, keep buying, keep clicking. The moment people stop hearing, the whole thing collapses. We all knew the state was coming. We saw it when the Oprah interview was supposed to end the seasonal drama, but the already been told came out the second.
I appreciate that. Meghan and Harry used to be liked. They used to be admired. People used to be curious. They used to support them until Meghan and Harry not just exit the royal family, they turned their back, criticized them, and mocked the royal family.
Pleasure to meet you, Your Majesty. Was that okay?
That's called disrespect. And guess what? People are losing respect for Meghan and Harry. That's logical.
Started feeling more like a rehearsed performance than a confession. We saw it when every single story somehow circled back to Meghan being the victim, or Meghan being the hero. Always Meghan. The children suffering, the institution failing her, the trolls, the bullying, the racism, the palace plotting against her. Every story, every interview, every doc-series. And the reason people are tuning out isn't complicated. It's 4 things. First, the lies. The contradictions that kept piling up. Stories that shifted. Details that didn't match. The version of events that changed depending on the audience. Second, the narcissism. Not my word. Observers, commentators, people who used to defend her have started using it. When every single narrative revolves around
Yes. And then secondly, the narcissism. Me, myself, and Meghan. Every story turns around Meghan. So Meghan can be the hero. Meghan can be the victim. Poor Meghan. It's all about her. Every challenge, every problem, every pain is about Meghan.
Meghan Markle is your problem.
Meghan always needs attention. And then third, relatability. Meghan always talking about how hard her life is, what a hard-working mom she is. Honestly, how much do you relate to Meghan if she's living the most privileged luxury life?
One person's pain, one person's glory, one person's victimhood. People get tired. Third, the relatability gap. She talks about how hard she works, what a devoted mother she is, how much she sacrifices, while living in a $14 million mansion with staff and security and designer everything. How much do you relate to that? Be honest. And fourth, the ingratitude. Everything she was given, everything Harry walked away from, the family connections, the history, the platform, all of it handed to her. And still, complaints, grievances, blame.
Mix those four things together, and you get something people don't want anywhere near them. The audience is gone. And the reason they keep launching new projects isn't ambition, it's desperation. Jams, candles, a fake royal tour of Australia that fizzled, now whispering about Africa, throwing everything at the wall, hoping.
Because they keep trying to re-identify themselves, they keep trying to launch new things all of the time. One project after the other, but also one flop after the other. Netflix, jams, candles, from being a cooking expert to a wellness expert, a full royal tour in Australia and next in Africa. They just keep throwing spaghetti and jams and rescue chickens at the wall, hoping that something will pay the mortgage. But when people are losing interest in you, then how many more reinventions do we need? So what's next? What could help?
Something sticks. And the reason for that? Well, you'll see. Because here's what's actually next, and nobody's saying it out loud yet. The money is running out faster than the deals are coming in. Diana's inheritance, sources say, is mostly gone. The legal fees keep climbing. The lifestyle keeps costing. And Meghan, who needs the cameras the way most people need oxygen, she won't go quiet. She won't disappear, even though disappearing strategically is literally the only move.
They need to disappear. Not forever, but strategically. There needs to be scarcity, and when they come back, they need to come back separately.
Harry would definitely be okay to disappear, go quiet. But Meghan, who craves the attention and the spotlight as a narcissist, she won't like to go quiet. She needs the cameras. So who's gonna win, Meghan or Harry? Because if Meghan wins, they need money coming in. And so what's gonna happen? Another tour? Because the US is a no-go, the UK is a no-go, Australia was no success.
That could save them at this point. Create scarcity. Make people miss them. Come back separately, on their own terms, with something real to offer. That's the play. But it requires patience and self-awareness. And we all know, just like I know, that self-awareness has never been Meghan's strongest quality.
Now you might just say the logical solution is to spend less money. But here's the thing, logic and Meghan are two opposites that just do not attract. In fact, the more Meghan uses her ambitious brain cell, the more projects fail. But fear not, because now Meghan is trusting astrology as her guide in all her decisions. So at this point, the moon is acting as a CEO. Let's dive.
So instead, what do we get? Another tour somewhere. Another project announced with big headlines and quiet results. Another reinvention that lands with a thud. And the clock keeps ticking. The insider said they're not broke yet. Not yet. But every month those words get heavier. Every flop makes the next deal harder to close. Every empty retreat room, every discounted ticket, every canceled show is a message the industry is sending loud and clear. And the message is this: a title is not a talent. Victimhood is not a business model. And the world has finally started to realize it. So I want to ask you something directly, because I genuinely want to know what you think. Is there any version of this where they course correct? Is there any project, any move, any reinvention left that actually works? Or has the grift run its course for good? Tell me in the comments, because from where I'm standing, the stars Meghan's consulting might be...
But let's not lose hope, because Meghan is trusting the stars as her financial advisors. So if the future is written in the stars, then what are the stars telling you? Let me know.
The only ones still believing in her at this point